Hello everyone. Today we are going to begin with the first prose lesson in your NCERT syllabus called The Best Christmas Present in the World, written by Michael Morpurgo. This video is going to be divided into two parts, so make sure you watch both of them to get a complete understanding of the lesson. Please watch this video till the end for a special tip about writing answers in the exam. Let's see what all we are going to cover during this video. In the first section, I will introduce the author and the key points about the story. We will also discuss the structure and the plot of the story in this part. In the second section, I will give you a line-by-line explanation of the story, along with the discussion of difficult words and meanings. In the third and final section, we will analyze the main themes, and I'll give you some important tips about writing answers in the exams. Let's jump straight into the introduction now. The story is written by Michael Morpurgo, a British writer and producer. It talks about World War I between the British and German forces, which took place during 1914 to 1918. This war lasted for more than 4 years and killed thousands of soldiers. The story touches upon the theme of war from the perspective of a soldier. Now let's discuss the structure and plot of the story. This story is divided into 3 parts. In the first part, the narrator goes to a junk shop a day before Christmas and buys an old table made of oak wood. When he opens it up, he finds a letter inside it dated 1914. In the second part of the story, the narrator reads the letter written by soldier Jim McPherson to his wife Connie on December 26, 1914, just a day after Christmas. Jim McPherson tells his wife how he celebrated his Christmas along with the German soldiers, laughing, drinking, and playing football. In the third part of the story, the narrator decides to visit Connie and hand over the letter to her personally. He finds her in a nursing home, waiting for her husband. She confuses the narrator with her husband and thinks that he is her Christmas present. Now that we've discussed the plot, let's get straight into the story. I spotted it in a junk shop in Bridport, a roll-top desk. The man said it was early 19th century and oak. I had wanted one, but they were far too expensive. So the narrator goes to a junk shop and finds a roll-top desk. The shopkeeper tells him that it is very old and made of oak tree wood. You can take a look at the picture of a roll-top desk here. The narrator had always felt that these tables were very expensive. Expensive means very costly. This one was in a bad condition. The roll-top in several pieces, one leg clumsily mended, scorch marks all down on one side. It was going for very little money. I thought I could restore it. It would be a risk, a challenge, but I had to have it. I paid the man and brought it back to my workroom at the back of the garage. I began to work on it on Christmas Eve. So he finds that the table was in a really bad condition. Its roll top was broken and one of its legs was clumsily means unsteadily or awkwardly repaired. Mended means repaired. It also had burn marks on its side. So the table is in a really bad condition, but he still buys it because it was very cheap. The narrator decides to repair it in his own workroom, so he starts to work on it just a day before Christmas. I removed the roll top completely and pulled out the drawers. The veneer had lifted almost everywhere. It looked like water damage to me. Both fire and water had clearly taken their toll on this desk. The last drawer was stuck fast. I tried all I could to ease it out gently. In the end, I used brute force. So the narrator takes off the veneer. Veneer means a thin covering or top layer. The table had been damaged by both fire and water. He found out that the last drawer was stuck fast, meaning that it was shut very tight. So the narrator had to finally use brute. Brute means brutal force, right? He almost used an animal-like force to open it up. I struck it sharply with the side of my fist and the drawer flew open to reveal a shallow space underneath, a secret drawer. There was something in there. I reached in and took out a small black tin box. So the narrator struck or hit the table with his fist and the drawer opened up immediately. He finds that there is a shallow means not so deep space under that drawer where a black tin box is hidden. Sellotaped to the top of it was a piece of lined notepaper and written on it in shaky handwriting, Jim's last letter, received January 25, 1915, to be buried with me when the time comes. I knew as I did it that it was wrong of me to open the box. but curiosity got the better of my scruples. It usually does. So you can take a look at the box here, the black tin box, right? He finds that there's a note taped on the top of the black tin box. This note was written in a shaky means unstable handwriting. It said that it contained a letter inside it written by someone called Jim. This letter was received on 25th of January 1915. The person who wrote the note wanted the letter to be buried with them when they die. This makes the narrator curious. Curious means eager to find something out. This curiosity or inquisitiveness makes him forget his doubt as he opens up the box. So, why was he in a doubt about opening the box? Because it was someone's personal letter and he had no right to read someone's private conversation. But the narrator wanted to find out who this letter was addressed to. Inside the box there was an envelope. The address read, Mrs. Jim McPherson, 12 Copper Beeches, Bridport, Dorset. I took out the letter and unfolded it. It was written in pencil and dated at the top, December 26, 1914. So he finds an envelope with the address, Mrs. Jim McPherson, 12 Copper Beeches, Bridport, Dorset. The narrator takes out the letter from the envelope and finds that it was written with a pencil on December 26, 1914. So this letter took approximately 1 month to reach Mrs. McPherson because she received it on 25th January 1915. If you remember, you saw that date on her handwritten note. So that's it for the first part of this video. Watch part 2 for the explanation of the rest of the story and its analysis. The link will appear on the screen and in the description box. Thank you for watching.